Alright guys, so today we're checking out the Soundcore Life.3i. Now this is a very interesting pair of earbuds, and what makes it interesting is I think this is a really good affordable option compared to the Liberty 3 Pros, which come in at $169, where the Life.3i's come in at only $59. But what's gonna make this a little more difficult is these are harder to find than the Liberty 3 Pros. In fact, the only place that I can find these are in a Walmart physical store or either on Walmart's website. So I am gonna have a link to that in the description below, but we're gonna talk about all of the features that these have. We're gonna talk about what all comes inside the box and the sound, and see why I think this is an incredible alternative to the Liberty 3 Pros. So to start with, these obviously have active noise canceling and transparency, and this is already what makes these compete with the Liberty 3 Pros, but the ANC and the transparency mode is not on the same level as the Liberty 3 Pros, and that's kind of to be expected, I guess, because of the price tag. But I felt like the noise canceling was still very good, especially against lower tones. So if you're gonna be somebody that travels where you want to dull out the noise of a plane or the engine noise of a car, these do an excellent job with that. It's just when people are talking or if there's anything with a higher pitch tone, those sounds still come in. But the transparency mode on here I feel work really well. I was able to hear my surroundings. There is a slight digital noise to the microphones, but I was still easily able to carry on a conversation without actually taking the earbuds out. Now, as far as some of the features and specs, these do use 10mm graphene drivers. It does work with Soundcore's app, so that's already a huge plus because that's giving you about 22 different EQ settings, but you can also go in and customize the EQ settings the way that you want. You can switch around the controls if you want, and this also allows Soundcore to keep the earbuds updated. So already, again, a huge plus that these work with Soundcore's app. Now, as far as using these outdoors, they do come in with an IPX5 rating, which means they're gonna be fine against splashes and rain and sweat and things like that. But this is not one of those pairs that you could submerge into water. Now, as far as what all they've included inside the box, you do get the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. Now, it does come with a USB-C cable that you're gonna have to keep up with because given the price, again, this is kind of to be expected, these do not have Qi wireless charging. So you can't drop them on any wireless charger, so do keep that in mind. Now, speaking of the charging, battery life I was very impressed with on this pair because if you use these with the noise canceling off, you're going to get about 9 hours on the earbuds and around 36 hours using the case. But if you decide to use these with the noise canceling on, it does bring the battery life down quite a bit because then you're only able to get about 6 hours on the earbuds with around 24 hours using the case. But one feature this pair does have is if you do happen to forget to charge your earbuds and you pick them up and they're dead, there is a fast charge feature where a 10-minute charge will get you about 2 hours of use. And again, I've said this before, this always comes in handy, especially somebody like me, where I'm not good about making sure my case or my earbuds are always charged. So now moving over to looking at the case and the earbuds themselves. Both of these are pretty small and very compact. In fact, the case on the bottom, you can see the USB-C input and the pairing button. And then around on the front, you have that single indicator light. And this is what allows you to just gauge how much battery life is left on the case. But when you open up the lid, this is the first time I've seen a design like these from Soundcore. I actually like the way that they designed them because they're designed in a way to fit in your ear really nicely and kind of sit flush where you can actually lay down on a pillow and not feel like they're jamming them into your ear. And another thing that I like about these is they decided to stick with using a physical button instead of touch controls. And I'm also happy to say that they give you control over everything, or at least once you go in and switch around some things in the app to be able to control everything. But then once you do that, you have your play, your pause, your ability to skip your tracks forward, go backwards, you have your volume control, and then you can also switch these into transparency or noise canceling mode, all from the earbuds themselves. Now, for you guys that do like to use your earbuds for phone calls, these are using 4 microphones total, and they're also using what Soundcore is causing AI enhancement, which is basically causing the mics to focus in on your voice and try to block out some of your surroundings. And I think they did an okay job here, but you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a mic test using the Life.3 Oz, and I think for the most part the mics are okay. I do notice a good amount of digital noise and also kind of muffling my voice a little bit, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here is the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound, because this is the part that surprised me the most. These sound very, very close to the Liberty 3 Pros. It's stuck to having that very consumer-friendly sound signature where they bump up the bass to give you this really punchy bass, but they definitely tune the treble up quite a bit because these have a slight sparkle or shine to them, definitely on the high end. So it's just a bright treble, a very thumping bass, and they kind of left the mids right there in the middle. They didn't push them too forward to make them aggressive, but I did notice no matter what genre I was listening to, the vocalist always sat there right in the middle. It didn't get pushed back or buried amongst everything else that was going on. And this is a huge plus, especially for somebody like me that listens to metal and a lot of genres where there can be a lot going on. Sometimes with other earbuds, that can just bury the vocalist and it can just take away from listening to what you're listening to. But again, I didn't have that issue with these. They sounded fantastic across all genres. And again, the huge plus is depending on your taste, you can go into the app and dial back the low end or dial back the treble or just push around some things and have them sound the way that you want. They do respond to EQing very well. And also mixing that with the fact that the sound stage and the sound imaging is also impressive. Soundcore has always had a sound that has some airiness to it, and they definitely applied that to this pair. So it makes you feel like you're in a large room, and being able to tell where different things are coming from, this pair has absolutely no problems with. So really my overall opinion on this pair is if you're even looking at Soundcore or the Liberty 3 Pros and you're a little hesitant about spending that kind of money, this is an excellent alternative because you're still getting really good noise canceling, you're getting a very good ambient mode, you're getting incredible battery life, and you're also getting a sound that is very, very close to the Liberty 3 Pros at almost a third of the cost. So really my only cons with this pair is obviously I'm not a fan of not having Qi wireless charging. I don't like the fact that out of the box, they don't give you control over everything. You actually have to go in and tweak some things to get this. And I do feel like they kind of dialed back the app with this pair. I mean, you are getting all of those EQ settings and you are getting the ability to switch around your controls. But outside of that, that's really it. And again, I guess that's kind of to be expected because of the price tag. But even with those negatives, I feel like this has excellent value, being able to get Soundcore's sound in a smaller price tag and also getting noise canceling on top of that. So guys, that's my video on the brand new Soundcore Life.3 Oz. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.